Welcome to another video documenting my recovery from a wrist fracture and my surgery, which today is 9 weeks since my wrist surgery and about 10.5 weeks since I fell and broke my wrist. And I have been documenting my recovery, and as you can see, my hand is doing quite well. It is still swollen to some extent and not quite as able to open all the way as my other hand. I'll show you my other hand with my long nails that haven't been able to be cut since I can't use a nail clipper on with my left hand. But anyway, see how far my hand can bend back and forward. That's my good hand. And this hand could not do quite as much. My fingers are still a little bit bent, but if I try really hard, I can keep them as far back. And so far, I can't go that much farther that way and that way by keeping my fingers straight. And I really can't flex this thumb all the way back, but I'm working on it. I'm going to hand therapy with an occupational therapist. So I'm working hard on that, trying to regain my skills. And what I want to show you today is the music therapy that I am trying to do on myself using several different instruments, which several you can see here. This is called a Dulcimer. This is a cigar box guitar, actually, that my husband made. He calls it a Dulcitar because it's set up just like the Dulcimer. And then a small guitar. This is a Taylor, a really small guitar that is easier for me to try to play. And then I'm going to show you the keyboard too. And so the reason that I'm using several of these, what I want to regain, I want to be able to stretch my hand out as far as I can. And I've gotten a lot of that stretch back, but I want to get it even further. And what hurts now is right here on my wrist and over here. As I'm doing this part hurts. They've just been tender spots in my hand. And the keyboard, you will see, will help me to get this stretch in my hand. And then also, ever since I first broke my wrist, this action was possible. This, called supination, when you bring your hand this way, was almost impossible. Now I can do an awful lot more, and every day it gets a little bit better. But this is what I need to be able to play the guitar, and that's my main goal, is to get my guitar skills back. And I need to be able to bring my wrist around and be strong and press the strings. So you'll see today I've gotten some of my skills back, but it is still it's still going to be a challenge to really play the guitar. So what I'm going to show you first is the keyboard, and I'll show you what I'm doing with my hand. And then I'm going to show you the Dulcimer, which also will be played with my hand over the top, which is easy. But then the Dulcitar is set up like a guitar, so I need to bring my hand this way. And then, of course, the guitar, definitely I need to bring my hand this way. Now, those of you who are guitarists, if you play the acoustic guitar and you broke your wrist, it's taken me 9 weeks from surgery to get this far. So it is a slow process, but I believe I'm going to get all of my functioning back by the grace of God. I'm trusting Him with that, and I'm working hard. And yes, it does hurt. But also the other thing I can do now is I can pretty much make a fist, and if I work at it, I can make a complete fist. In the mornings, my hand is still kind of like this, and I have to work it out and then press. It's just stiff. So I will show you the instruments where I go over the top, which was the easiest from the beginning. That's what I started with. And then gradually turning my hand. And what I've done to keep my calluses off, since I have these lovely long nails on this hand, since the beginning, if I can find my hand, this is kind of random, but I've been pressing because you know how hard it is to get these calluses back. So I've been pressing to be able to keep them because I really haven't been able to play the guitar. And just kind of trying to keep those calluses so when I am able to play, I will not have to get them from scratch. So that's just for any steel string acoustic guitar players who, when they first fracture their wrist, they think, I don't want to lose all my calluses. For those of you who are not guitarists, it hurts to play steel strings until you develop these calluses. So that's just a little tip on how I hopefully have kept most of my calluses. So here we go. I'm going to show you the keyboard, and then I'm going to show you each of these instruments as I play them. And I hope that it encourages any of you who have had a wrist fracture and then surgery to correct it, or even if you haven't and you're just trying to regain. But mine is after having distal radius surgery, which is inside of here where this scar is. They put a plate that's kind of like a little clamp on my bones to hold them in place, and some screws. So that's what's inside there, and that's how the bones could form around there in the same formation as they were originally. So here we go. I'm going to show you the keyboard. Okay, for the first thing to remember is I am not really a keyboard player, but I'm going to do the best that I can. And I'm going to play a simple hymn, and I will probably make mistakes, but you get to see what I'm doing here is I'm trying to keep my hand. This is the hand that was fractured, and I'm trying to keep it open so I can play a full chord. All right? That's my goal, is to be able to reach, and I guess essentially, I don't know how far this hand can't reach that much more than a full octave. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to play Amazing Grace, and Here Goes Nothing, because who knows, I'll make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay. So it's nothing to write home about, but you get the picture, you get the point. What I've realized through this whole endeavor in my healing, well, one of the things that I've realized a lot of things, is how fun music therapy is, because I'm going to OT, which is with a hand specialist, and I use a lot of things to manipulate and strengthen this hand. But the music therapy is so fun because you make mistakes, but it's just nice to make music. So it's very motivating. And I've known that. I've worked as a music therapist for years, but when you go through it yourself, you really feel the potential for growth by doing these things. So this is the piano. I'm going to show you the dulcimer now, and then the dulcitar, and then the actual guitar. So thank you for enduring my piano playing. I'll see you in a minute. All right, so this is the dulcimer. And I'm going to play the same song, but see how my hand goes over and does not have to turn. That's why this has been easier. This was the first instrument that I played successfully in any way. And again, I'm not a dulcimer player, but I'm going to play the same simple hymn, Amazing Grace, and try to do the best I can. But you can watch how my hand is able to do what it needs to do. And this has metal strings, so I'm at least keeping these calluses up a little bit. So I would suggest, if you are a guitarist and you have broken your wrist, this would be the first instrument that I would try, or anything that has your hand going this way, keyboard would be the same. But this was the easiest for me. So here goes nothing with Amazing Grace. And now I'm going to try the same thing on the Dulcitar, which is set up the same way, but now I have to turn my wrist to play. All right, and this is the Dulcitar, which my husband calls it. He made this out of a literal cigar box, which cigar box guitars are a thing, apparently. And he has made many, but this one he set up as a dulcimer, so it has the same three strings with the same open tuning. And I am going to play the same song, or at least I'm going to try. So, but see how this one, I have to turn my hand, just like on the guitar, and it hurts more. And where it hurts mostly is right here, this spot of my hand, because I have to turn it farther than it had wanted to go after it broke. So let's try this here. that's close enough for jazz, even though I made a lot of mistakes. But you can see how, even with making the mistakes, I'm working my hand. So that's the whole point of this, regardless of any mistakes that I make, that my hand is working because the joy of the music is what makes it want to work. So I'm going to now get a small guitar because I'm not quite ready for the big guitar yet. And you will see how I play this on the guitar. All right, this is a Taylor mini guitar. I'm not sure what it's called a Baby. It's way smaller than a regular guitar, although it looks just as big on the video. But this is really just about the size of that Dulcimer. So it keeps my arm closer to my side because it's very hard. When you have a broken wrist, you need to keep that elbow close to your hip to do that supination, the turning your hand over and back. Because if you don't, the rest of your body is going to try to help you out, but it's not really helping. It's being fake. It's saying, "Oh yeah, I'm turning my hand all the way over because my shoulder's moving." So this guitar keeps everything close. And my husband had heard online someone else with the same situation had used on their regular guitar. I will probably do this if I start going over to my regular guitar. I will use a capo, which brings your chords far up here. But this guitar I can pretty much play, but the chords for this song, if I do this in the same key, are not easy for me to play. I need to play a C and an F, which is almost, I can't really play an F yet, and a G, like this. I can just barely play those chords. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify the chords and I'm going to play them a little bit differently so that they're doable for me because I want to sing it in the same key. I'll sing it for you too. I don't know how this will come out with my audio, but we're just going to do the best we can. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. All right, thanks for watching today. I hope you have learned something. And for anyone who has had a wrist fracture, I hope this encourages you. This is 9 weeks out from surgery for distal radius fracture and a little bit over 10 weeks out from my fall where I broke my wrist. So it is a slow process. It definitely involves some pain. I have done a lot of praying over this hand and working hard, and I am definitely seeing results. And I trust the Lord that I will get all my skills back. Right now, that F chord, even the modified F chord, was almost impossible to play. But we're going to get there. And that's about the closest I can give you to a thumbs up right now. So God bless you, my friend, and I'll see you next time. And if you want to check out any of my other videos, this one's going to go up right around the time that I'm actually recording it. I'll try to get this out as quickly as possible. I have a couple of other videos that will be coming out about the spiritual lessons the Lord has taught me along the way. And those were recorded when I still had my hand in a brace. So over the past few months, I've been recording those, and I will be getting those out, one in October, one in November. But in the meantime, I want to keep you updated on my real, literal progress physically. So have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. It's still hard for me to do that. Bye. There you go.